We haven't been live.
Oh, really? Wow.
Has anybody? We're live now. Hold on. Do you want us? Andrew, we should do the beginning at the end.
No wonder nobody commented on that.
I know, that was so random. Hey, everybody, this is the Rebels. This is Flying Casual. I'm James. That's.
Hey.
We've been talking for I don't know how long, but we haven't been live apparently.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I think it's picking up. I don't know what's going on right now. Oh God, what is happening? I got a text from my friend Steve saying, "Is there a delay?" I was like, "No, we're on."
It's funny because while we were talking about how you like Last Jedi and I like Last Jedi, there was talk in the chat of people saying they like Last Jedi. So I was like, yeah, everybody's on board.
Yeah, it just kind of was weird. So anyway, what we just did, we will put up as a separate video. That'll be.
So sorry, guys. There is a half hour worth of video we just did, but for some reason it wasn't live.
Yeah,
you will see it eventually.
I don't know why it didn't.
I really like the first part. I promise.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We talk about The Last Jedi. You know what? We'll just call that video Why We Love The Last Jedi. We'll record an ending to it after this. So let's go into this live stream. And also, we do a Ben Solo challenge to start that one off.
Yes.
Just hold on. Let me make sure that's recording. It is. Okay, so we do own that footage. Last Jedi rocks, says Johnny.
You're darn right, Johnny.
And I got to say, I got to give a shout out to Four Leaf Clover, who was... who kind of was like, who commented like they could see the chat, but no James or Brock. We got a super chat. Thank God for saving us. Thank God. Happy 2020 from the Mr. P channel. Mr. P channel. So Mr. P channel, you did a super chat on a show a little while ago. I think before in 2019. Darth Ward, Rob McDonald will be acknowledging that super chat question on the next Mandalorian Scum. Just so you know. And you'll get full credit for that. Don't want Star Wars to become the SWCU. No thanks. So yeah, let's continue this conversation, Andrew, about superhero Jedi. I had that concern. Like I was saying, like everybody heard, that it felt like they were kind of going that direction with the Jedi. And then the Finn in the Rise of Skywalker kind of put me a little bit more at ease because I like the way they used the Force sensitivity within him. I mean, I think they could easily have had him come out and say, hey, I'm Force sensitive. But I like that he wasn't lifting rocks. He wasn't grabbing things with his mind. He had it was very Leia in like Empire and Jedi. You know, like when Luke calls to her from Cloud City, it was that kind of Force sensitivity. And I really appreciated that they did that and they didn't go over the top with him. Because I love Finn. I do think his character deserved better. Based on The Force Awakens. You know me with Stormtroopers. I love my Stormtroopers. I love Finn. So how do you feel about the possibility of this new saga, the High Republic one, by making Star Wars set this out, that they might be more superhero-related Jedi? And this goes directly to Happy 2020 from the Mr. P channel, who doesn't want a Star Wars MCU-style series. How do you feel about that?
I think it all depends on what they mean when they say it's going to be more super heroic. Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Happy 2020 from Mr. P channel, but I think what you're saying is you don't want them to employ the same filmmaking methods that they've been doing with the MCU, where you've got, your series of standalones and then your crossovers. I think that's what you mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, my friend. And I think that's what you're saying. You don't want Star Wars to adapt to that same formula. And I agree. I think that works fine for Marvel. But Star Wars is a different beast. It's been a multimedia beast forever and ever and ever. So it's been, you watch the movies, and if you want more, the rest of the 9/10 that's under the water of this giant iceberg we call Star Wars, you go and you read a comic or you buy a DK visual dictionary or what have you. But I think it sounds like what Lucasfilm is saying is that the Jedi are going to be more like the Force is going to be used more like a superpower. I think that's the gist that I'm getting from this comment. And I think you need to be careful there because, yes, superpowers look cool, Okay, happy 2020 for Mr. Pete is clarifying. No. I don't want them to be like superheroes. And I agree with you. Superpowers look cool. Yeah, that's fine. But that's what the Marvel movies are for. I think the Force has always been and should always remain a much more spiritual entity. It's not about looking cool and kicking ass. That's not what it's about. It's about it's essentially about what Luke does at the end of the Last Jedi. It's about it, like the peace and purpose. It's about the sacrifice. It's a totally different animal than just flipping around and lifting rocks. So I don't want Disney to go all in and give us like a bunch of movies where everybody's like, yeah, rock music, force leap, force throw, force
and
catapult. Like,
Rey does the superhero landing in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, but at least they kept true to it. Where Rey in Rise of Skywalker, the climax isn't about her doing some crazy cool jump and somersault, and it's about her getting in touch with the spiritual side of the Force and becoming, the essence of all the Jedi that came before her. That's what the Force is about. And when you lose track of that, I guarantee you, if you lose track of that and you just try to make people look cool and kick ass, everybody's going to hate on that movie. Everybody is going to be like, this is stupid. This is not Star Wars. This is just trying to be badass. The worst thing, in my opinion, that you can do is try to be badass. I hate characters and that's why I wasn't a big fan of The Witcher. Okay. It was an okay show, but I'm not a fan of the character of The Witcher because that's all he is. He's just a juvenile attempt to be badass. And he's like, rock and roll. Look at my sword. I sleep with every woman on this show. Badass. It's like, F off. Like that's not what the Force is about. And if they try to make the Force about that, they are gonna sink like the Titanic. That is not gonna be a pretty picture.
No, I gotta tell everybody to like and subscribe. Tell your friends, like and subscribe, because I think this is the beginning of this one. We will put the first half hour up somewhere else. I'm so sorry. This was so embarrassing. We were talking. I think that was a good conversation about how much we hate The Last Jedi. And I'm just joking. I watched it 3 times this week, twice in one day. Here's what I think, because Miles is saying that he kind of thinks they are. What I think for me, in regards to the superpower, is I want, like, Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man and it's effortless, basically, right? Like, once he's able to swing, he can swing. I want a little bit more focus put into being a Jedi, right? Like, when you meditate, like, they meditate to lift, even Yoda lifting the X-Wing, right? Takes his time. He tries, and he gets it up, and it's easier than Luke doing it, obviously, but it still takes effort on his part, concentration, and I want that, and I don't want them to dumb that down. Now, the prequels, I think the way the Jedi are portrayed in the prequels is as far as you should take it. However, technology has advanced and movies are a little bit different now, so you take it in more of that kind of direction. But I do think you kind of look at what the prequels gave you with the Jedi and you use that as your guideline. Don't go too over the top. When you go over the top, if you just make this another Marvel movie, because right now, I think, and this, I don't know how you feel, Andrew, or anybody in the chat, let us know. And Andrew, you're better at reading the chat than I am because I'm blind. But if they've ended the Skywalker saga. So our entire association with Star Wars, save for The Mandalorian, has been the Skywalker saga, right? Rogue One ties into the Skywalker saga. Solo was obviously a character from the Skywalker saga. Now you're going to give us movies with these new characters that we presumably have never heard about. Maybe we get Yoda. And you're asking us to care about the situation that they're in. And I think people underestimate the emotional value that these movies have for us, that these characters have, right? Like, we go back to them because we want to see Luke, Leia, and Han succeed. We go back to them because we want to see Anakin turn into Darth Vader. We go back because we care about Rey, Finn, Poe, and now we want to know more about our old Luke and our old Han and all that. And I'm curious what they're going to do when they do this. And if they start to turn these movies into Marvel movies, are people going to care? Because if you can go see a Marvel movie, why are you going to see a Star Wars movie? There's got to be a separation there, what I would say.
Yeah. People, you go to Marvel for a certain kind of experience, and they deliver. But you go to other movies for other kinds of experiences. And at the end of the day, for me, Star Wars has been that great mix of, yes, there's cool stuff. Yes, it's awesome to see Rey somersault over a TIE fighter. Yes, it's awesome to see like Darth Vader wail on those rebel troopers and all that stuff. That's great. It's fun. I love it. But Star Wars will always connect to the spiritual side of the Force. And you don't get that kind of stuff with Marvel. And that's fine. That's not a knock against Marvel. That's just how Marvel movies are. But that's just how Star Wars movies are, is they find that balance of the cool stuff and the spiritual stuff. You got your dessert, but you got your vegetables too. And you take it in stride. And at the end, you feel like you got a balanced meal. And I don't ever want them to knock it too far in either direction. I don't want them to add too much of like, ooh, zip, zop, zoop. Look at this guy. He's swirling his lightsabers around, and he's got lightsaber nunchucks now. Isn't he badass? Isn't he cool? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But as long as you keep the Force about the Force, as long as you keep that side where the Force is something that connects people spiritually, connects the galaxy spiritually, and it's not about looking cool and being a badass, then you're okay. You just got to find the right middle ground. It's all about balance. Balance to the Force, folks. Balance is the most important thing ever in Star Wars, in real life. You eat a balanced diet, you balance your budget, everything. Balance is so important. So you got to have that in the plot of these new movies. Otherwise, you're not making Star Wars movies. You're making fan films where it's just people saying, I have a camera and I can do cool tricks with a toy lightsaber, so I'm going to film myself doing that. That's the difference. That's why I don't really like to watch fan films, because even though they're usually well made and they look great, it's usually just a bunch of people like, wow, I'm a really good gymnast, so I'm going to hold this toy lightsaber and do gymnastics. It's like, that's great, but that's not what Star Wars is about.
Four-Leaf Clover says that they think they're going to lay the groundwork for the world between worlds, Netherworld, and explore the unknown regions. We may even get another dyad. The new stuff may help us understand the rise of Skywalker more, maybe. Rural Farm Boy agrees with you, and that's why Rural Farm Boy has been cut off from the channel. We don't allow anyone to agree with Andrew Fantasia.
You're awesome, Rural Farm Boy. And Horizon Brave, yes. Force Unleashed is a perfect example of what not.
This is what I want to talk to you about. But with the Rise of Skywalker, Rey grabs the shuttle or whatever the hell it is, right? Mm-hmm. The transport. And then Kylo grabs it. And they're tug-of-warring a transport. And the minute that happened, I thought of the Force Unleashed and how you're like, he takes down a Star Destroyer. That's my impression of you. What did you think of that scene in the Rise?
Exactly like me.
It does. What did you think of that Rise of Skywalker moment?
The difference is Ben is a Skywalker. Rey is a Palpatine. Starkiller is, pardon my French, some shitty ass clone who is fan service incarnate. He is a fanfic character that somehow got made by Lucasfilm. That's all he is. Look how strong I am. I can do everything. Oh, Vader and the Emperor, I'm gonna fight them because I'm the strongest guy. And I created the Rebel Alliance all by myself. Again, like, no.
I love how mad you are.
Go back to your fanfic and stay there, Starkiller.
But isn't it a fun game? I can't get past it.
It's a fun game. Absolutely, it's a fun game. I had fun. But that's not. No, that character is not a good example of a good Star Wars character. Far from it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I've only played a part. I'm terrible at video games. I'm so bad, and when they take longer than a half hour to play, I'm just out usually. So I am not beating it. I have to say thank you everybody for joining us, especially for waiting for us for the half hour.
Yeah, that's so cool of you to be
so patient. Bad.
It's like they know at this point. Our fans know. They're like, oh yeah, that Hastings internet.
Forceborn wasn't cool enough so they came up with Dyad. That's probably a fair point. I'll say let's go back to this superhero Jedi, because I really don't. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, I was happy about it because of what they were able to accomplish with Marvel. But then they kind of took the Marvel approach to making these movies. Not so much in the style of the movies, but they're like, we'll have spin-offs and we'll do this and we'll do that. And I think when after a certain amount of time, they realized this is a completely different thing. It's not Marvel. And like you said, it's not Marvel. It shouldn't be treated like Marvel. It's big and epic, and they gross $1 billion, but it's not Marvel. Frozen grosses $1 billion. It's not Marvel. Like, you don't treat Frozen like you treat Marvel, so don't treat Star Wars like you treat Marvel either. You could respect them both for what they are, and like you said, they're very different things. And where something might work in Marvel, that doesn't mean it'll work in Star Wars, and vice versa. And no one goes to a Marvel movie to watch Peter Parker meditate for a half hour, but I will watch Yoda do that all day. We got another super chat. You want to read that one, Andrew?
Sure. First, I'll just say a quick goodbye to Miles McGrew. He's got to step out. Thanks for joining us, Miles. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Miles.
All right, Heidi Fetter's got a super chat for us. Heidi asks, what if Darth Plagueis joined with Palpatine the same way Palpatine tried to join with Rey? That's been brought up a lot. I really wish that visual dictionary told us more, Heidi. I really wish it did, because everything with Palpatine is guesswork, and I had a long conversation with my friend Robin about it. And
look, I have it, everybody. I mentioned this on the deleted scene of this podcast.
Yeah,
this
that's
podcast is the rise of Skywalker of Rebel Scum. And half of it's on the cutting room floor.
Half of it you won't see.
Wait till you see the director's cut of this. The JJ. Oh my God, we should call this the JJ cut.
JJ cut. 100%.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was talking with my friend, and he was like, "So, what do you think? Like, what was his plan? What was Palpatine trying to do?" And he's like, "When he says, 'I am all the Sith,' has that been? Is that true? Like, is that really just?" The first Sith has been inhabiting bodies this whole time. And I kind of hope that's not the case, because if that's the case, that means we've never met the real Sheev Palpatine. We've only ever met the first Sith, God knows who that is, in the skin of the man named Sheev Palpatine.
See, I interpret that differently, but go on.
And that would bum me out, because it's like my favorite character is a character we've never actually met. I don't know about that. So I like to think that, again, this is just my headcanon, but I like to think that if you're going to do that Sith body swap, if you're going to do what he's trying to do and be like, yes, kill me and I'll put myself in you, you need to kind of do this sort of meditation thing to get in the zone to do it. And I think that Plagueis, because Plagueis was killed in his sleep by CVP, he was sleeping. He couldn't get into the zone and do that. I think Plagueis wanted to do that. That was his intention. But CVP knew that was probably going to happen. So he's like, well, screw this. I'm killing him in his sleep. I don't want him taking my body. So we killed him in his sleep. And now he's trying to do that with Rey. But somehow he found a way to call on the Sith essence so that he could, I don't know. But I don't like the idea of the Sheev we have known and loved since episode 1 has never really been Sheev. It's just been a body inhabited by a Sith whose name we've never even learned. That's kind of boring.
See, I took it completely differently. Well, not completely, but I took it differently. What I took it as is he is the embodiment of all the Sith. And the rule of 2 is the start of all of that. And that when the Sith and the Master and the Apprentice has always been around since Darth Bane, correct? Hey, Dale.
Hey, Dale.
Brock's here. Brock, I thought you were working, Brock. Let me know if you want to join Brock. He does it. Brock was in the first half. No, he wasn't.
Brock told everybody to take a shot every time you say you're bad at video games. So,
hey,
alcohol poisoning for all.
What I thought of it, though, was when he says that, it's the Sith version of be with me for Rey, when Rey's with all the Jedi. And what happens is the power of all the Sith, the knowledge of all the Sith is within Sheev, but that is still Sheev underneath all of that. So he has the power of all the Sith, and he calls upon them when he needs them, and he can tap in. And that's because when there's a master and the apprentice kills the master, and then that knowledge goes into the apprentice and all the time. But CVP and Plagueis, I think, was finding a way to stop that so he can maintain that power, and then CVP kills him, and now he's the one that's he's the end of that. He wants to be the one to stop that, and he'll have eternal life, and he will have endless knowledge of the Sith with him. That's how I took it.
Okay. I like that. And if they are indeed going to the High Republic, maybe they can shed some light on that. Maybe they can give us some idea of, hey, here's what's going down, guys. Sorry, we didn't put him in the visual dictionary.
Well, I think he's not in the visual dictionary for 2 reasons. 1, they had no idea. 2, I think they're going to save it for something bigger than the visual dictionary. Because look, I love these visual dictionaries. Brock got me the Last Jedi one. I love the art of books. I love all these books. The problem with these guys, wait till you see our Ben Solo challenge that we do off the top with the deleted scenes. It's on the cutting room floor, just like everything you need to know in The Rise of Skywalker. The thing about these that I love though, or that I don't like, is they give you too much information, and sometimes the information that you get in them is like off the top, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I literally just got this book, but like they give you these little things, and people are like, "Oh, I wish I put that in the movie." I'm like, but it's not of any consequence. It's like it's good for us super fans to like read it and know, but like the general audience doesn't need to know that. But when you start to do it, everyone's like, "Blah, blah, blah." And part of the coolness of Star Wars is absolutely headcanon. I believe. I think it's safe to have your headcanon. But I do think the reason why GVP is not in this book is because they had no idea what's going on. But also, I think we're going to get something big happening with GVP in the form of a book or a comic or something. And that will hopefully be announced soon.
Oh, I hope so. I can't wait for the trade paperback of the Kylo Ren comic, because that's apparently answering a lot of questions. I don't read the individual issues because I'm not made of money. So I'm just waiting for the trade, but my God, I hear it's great stuff.
I'm handing you my lightsaber.
Oh.
We did a Ben Solo challenge, and no one's believing us here.
We did the Ben Solo thing.
But we weren't live because for some reason I clicked the live button. It said we were live, and then I guess it just lied to me.
I guess so.
Like my entire life. It's gonna be live, a lies of live. Brock, are you around for a while? You want to record with us after this? We're doing a Patreon exclusive after. What? Join our Patreon.
Andrew. I'm not.
Andrew, take it. To explain what Patreon is.
Patreon is a cool thing. It's like, do you remember in the olden days you could subscribe to a magazine, and then every month the magazine would come in your mailbox, and it's like Christmas once a month, and you open your mailbox, you're like, oh, there's that magazine that I like. Patreon is kind of like that, but it's not every month. It's every week, sometimes every day, depending on how much content we're chugging out. But so imagine Christmas every week, almost every day of Star Wars stuff by us, Star Wars fans. So you know that you're getting good stuff, and we make Never Tell Me the Odds. We make Cloning Around. We make Goodwill Hunting. What are those? If you don't know, it's because you're not on the Patreon. Get on the Patreon and you'll find out. But they're cool stuff, I promise. And sometimes I'm there.
And actually, this Wednesday is our 150th episode of the Rebel Scum podcast. Patreon, get that right now, but it goes up for everybody on Wednesday. And it's cool. We have a lot of fun doing it. It's like an hour and a half long, and maybe you stop by and ruin it.
I like ruining things.
You've done. You were on, I think, our third or fourth episode to start with. Do you remember what your very first top 5 was?
I think it was top 5 directors you want to see.
No.
Jar Jar moments.
Yes, it was Jar Jar moments. We've got to revisit our top 5 Jar Jar moments after
I give up.
I just remember that was probably our longest top 5, and it was just laughing.
Yeah.
What's a Brock, says Rural Farm Boy. Oh, fighting words.
Uh-oh.
You must mean old Brock. What is happening in the chat right now?
I don't know. It's great though.
It's a great episode. It says Josh. Yeah, Josh. He read it. He read it. He watched it.
Josh downloaded a transcript.
Yeah. Josh is always like, I don't want to watch or listen. You send me transcripts of everything. I want to read it on the subway during my commute. That's how we gotta do everything in that way. Actually, he is a patron of my author Patreon page also, which is
very cool.
Which is cool. Where you can't buy side scroller there. Miss a back.
But I'll tell you where you can buy side scroller. A little place called Amazon.com. That's right. It's right here. Look at this. Look at this juicy sexiness right there. That's all my brain made all of that up.
Have you ever read Ray's Survival Guide? Has anybody read this? I haven't read it. I got it at the dollar store.
Oh my God, I gotta go to your dollar store. Your dollar store has like so many treasures. And when I go to my dollar store, it's like a box of old candy canes literally covered in dust.
They had a Sabine
one.
I didn't get it, but maybe I'll go. So Jakku locations. Before you came to Jakku, I bet you thought it was small and unimportant. And you were right. But up close, every planet is gigantic and full of mysteries.
And I think that book is written like as if Rey wrote herself. Oh, that's so cool, man.
Life forms on Jakku. The last page is, I am not a Palpatine. Interesting. That's weird that they would write that.
I wish the last page was like, she says, like, you don't know me, and then you see like different handwriting saying, but I do.
Oh, there's like sketches by her in here as well, like Chewbacca and Solo. Han and Chewie had their own troubles. We barely had been introduced when some old friends of theirs caught up with us. There was a huge fight aboard the freighter, one that I spent trying not to get shot or torn apart by tentacles. This is the last page of this book. And then it ends with, I took a peek at Takodana on the scopes, and it looks like the planets I've dreamed about since I was a kid. Except, even in my dreams, they weren't this green. I wonder what we'll find down there. Da-da-da, she'll find this. That was Luke's lightsaber. By the way, Lupita Nyongo, have you seen Us?
Yes.
Horribly underused in Star Wars. Great in Us. She was fantastic. I was a little bit disappointed in the movie as a whole. I was
a lot disappointed in the movie as a whole, but she was fantastic.
She was so good in it. I haven't seen like any of the other actresses that got nominated this year, but she was robbed.
Yeah,
I'll say that. She was also robbed in Maz Kanata. Gosh, if there's a character no one knew what to do with.
I've said a bunch of times, she's very talented, but she's also very young. So I hope that Lucasfilm's intention was, we're going to hire you to play this character who's ancient, but you're young. We want to keep you around for a long time. So whether we go backwards or forwards, we want Maz Kanata to exist. That's what I'm hoping. Because in Force Awakens, she says she's run that castle for 1,000 years.
And then they don't even put her in Solo.
Yeah, I know. That's a shame. But I hope that that's their plan. Because otherwise, you wasted a great actress and a cool character who has potential on really a role that you could have given to, like, I don't know, Akbar. Like, anybody else could have done that. Like what she does in 8 and 9 at least. Please don't waste Lupita Nyong'o.
8 was a huge disappointment, I think. Like, she was just there because she was contractually obligated to be in it. That's how I take it. I don't know what Brock's going on about. He just sounds like he's tired from work. Has everybody liked and subscribed yet?
I haven't.
No, you wouldn't either.
No.
Japanese cartoon tentacle. What the heck, Heidi? I'm like, don't even know what you're saying. I'm not gonna finish saying that. Although I've read Heidi's books, so it doesn't surprise me. Anyway, Race Survival Guide, dollar store. Jedi superhero. Yeah, it's just about them not doing too much. Anything you hope, if it is the High Republic, which it probably will be, anything you hope to see during that era? Do you know anything about that era?
Well, that era doesn't exist yet. I think they said 400 years before Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Now, Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR, that was, correct me guys if I'm wrong, but I think that was 2,000 years and change before Phantom Menace. 400, we never touched that time period. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to the inevitable thousands upon thousands of memes and jokes of people who are gonna like Photoshop Yoda with like a marijuana cigarette in his mouth and be like, "It's the High Republic, man," because you know that's gonna happen. I don't know where the term High Republic came from, but I just know that those jokes are coming. I just think it's cool that we're going back to the past. I can't wait to see what they do back there. Ever since Rogue One came out, I've been dying to see that statue on Jeddah standing up in its original position because I want to know what that's all about. But now more than ever, because we've seen Rise of Skywalker, show me Exegol. Show me what's been going on that place, like, because there's some history there. So, like, I mean, we thought Malachor and Moraband was where it was at in terms of the Sith, but no, apparently now Exegol is front and center. So tell me, fill in the blanks. That's what every Star Wars thing should be doing, is filling in the blanks.
But they leave that up to the comics. Have you read the Rise of Kylo Ren?
No. Like I said, I'm waiting for the trades because I don't buy single issues.
Yeah. Happy 2020 from Mr. Pete says 400 BBY. Yoda will be 300. Yaddle 40. And Jabba is 200. Did Yaddle die?
We don't know what became of Yaddle. That's a very good question.
Just disappears out of fan.
Automated Joy says, LOL, the Blaze It Republic. Yeah, there's going to be jokes like that all over the place if you call this the High Republic. It's going to happen.
For sure. Are you on board with Yoda being a character in this? Or do you think they're going to...
I'll accept Yoda if he's in it as much as like Maz is in these movies. I don't want this to become the Yoda show. I don't want a teeny bopper Yoda running around like Dawson's Creek version of Yoda and teach me, will you? Like I don't care about Yoda's early life. If he pops in and out and does something cool like once per movie, great, beautiful. But the point of removing ourselves is to remove ourselves. So if you're going to go back 400 years, take advantage, yes, that Yoda is there and that Maz is there, but these movies should be about other people.
Yeah. I completely agree. I want them to, like, if you're going to cease with the Skywalker saga, then start anew. But again, I think their hesitation could be in will audiences, and not you and I. You and I are going like 2022. I've already bought my ticket for it. Like we're going, but will audiences, casual moviegoers, invest? Because movie tickets might be $50 by that time. Will they invest in movies about characters they've never heard of in a time period of the galaxy that has never been touched upon? Will they invest in that? Why will they invest in that? And I think, like you said, Exegol, something from what we just saw, tie us into that somehow. Just something tiny. And that, I think that's a way to get people there. Yoda is obviously a way to get people there. I think The Mandalorian, the most brilliant thing ever was Baby Yoda. And I'm not a genius for saying that because everybody feels that way. But I said this with Brock, I think it might have been on 150 or last week, where the brilliance of it is we learn nothing about him. Like it's just like, here's Baby Yoda. You care about Baby Yoda because we've made him adorable. The Mandalorian cares about Baby Yoda, so you're attached to him. But you don't know his name. You don't know the species name. There's no information. Just a baby who walks and drinks soup and wants his chalky milk. Like, that's it. And I thought that was genius because not one person is complaining that Baby Yoda is a Mary Sue, Like, not one person is saying anything about Baby Yoda because we got nothing, but we got everything.
Yeah. And that's the formula. And I think Rogue One did it so beautifully where, okay, you're going to have something that's about new characters and whatever. So all the new stuff, make an ice cream sundae. All the new stuff is the ice cream. And all the old stuff, the characters, the worlds that we remember, that's the sprinkles. Just add a few of those on top and you're good. And that's exactly what Rogue One did. Yeah, you're getting like 6 new planets, you're getting like 20 new characters, but yeah, here's Vader, here's Leia, here's Mustafar. Enjoy. And that, I think, is the beautiful, perfect way to do this. And if this High Republic was smart, whoever's in charge of it, do the exact same thing. New worlds, new characters, but yeah, here's Maz, here's, I don't know, Exegol, here's Dagobah. Go. I guarantee you will be fine if you make it that ice cream sundae.
I know you love a lot of planets. I love when they introduce new planets.
Oh, I love planets so much.
How many planets are too many planets, though? When does it start to feel like I know everybody complains the galaxy's too small, but when does it start feeling like it's too big?
It's probably getting there. It's close. But I think for me, the perfect balance is that Rogue One example. It's that ice cream sundae of like, yeah, the story's going to introduce new worlds that are part of the story, but we're going to visit old ones too. We're not going to pretend like they don't exist anymore. We're not going to be like episode 7, 8, and 9 and be like Coruscant, Naboo, what's that? Like we're going to acknowledge that these are here. We might even show them to you. That's, I think, the perfect way to do a new Star Wars, period. And that goes for books and comics too.
How many? Never tell me the odds. How many books? No, over under. I don't know. How many books do you think we're going to get based off of filling in the blanks from the Rise of Skywalker?
Oof. I got some stuff planned for a future episode regarding that, but I'm going to say at least 3.
That's it?
Yeah.
That seems light.
I think 3 is okay. 4, including the Kylo Ren comic that's out right now, because I forgot to.
Okay, so you got the novelization, the Kylo Ren comic. Now you're down to 2.
Oh, the novelization! I didn't think of that.
That's been pushed back 2 weeks. Laura from Force Toast kind of let the cat out of the bag, ruined everybody's day yesterday, I think it was. The novelization's been pushed back 2 weeks till the end of March. My guess is that so they can go and find, so that the author can go and search for Ben Solo. But what do you think? So just 2 after that?
I think, yeah, novelization, Kylo comic, and then I think we're gonna get some kind of book or something about the what do you call it? Sorry, the Final Order, and Price, a lot of stuff of what Price was doing, because Price, I feel like he knew about it, and the machinations of what they were doing, how it ties to the Acolytes of the Beyond. I definitely think there's going to be a book in there that ties into that. I think we're going to get a young adult thing about Ben Solo, and it's going to be like a very Ben Solo heavy, like just in his head. It's like, I feel this right now. I can't wait to find this out. But it's going to be like saying everything he knows that he didn't necessarily say out loud during the movie, but everything he knows about how the First Order was formed and Snoke and what Palpatine told him after the fact. I don't know, something like that. And then I wouldn't be surprised if there's another comic in there too.
Do you think one of those books will be called But I Do?
Oh, God, I hope so.
You know what's funny is I watched the trailer for the first time yesterday since, God, I don't know, way before the movie. And he doesn't even say it like that. He's like it's his tone is different. I was like, that's not how I say it. I was like, they got it all wrong. But I do. I don't know. Girls with Sabers leaving by. I really hope Adam Driver gets an Oscar win. He was great in Marriage Story. He was really good in Black Klansman. And nobody wants to hear us talk about that, so we'll go back to Star Wars, Andrew. Nobody cares what we have to say about other movies because they're using us. We're being used.
We're tools. We're tools of the system.
How many lightsaber colors are we going to get in the High Republic?
Ooh.
Should there be a yellow or a yellow one or orange?
Oh,
whatever?
Absolutely. I think that...
We had to think about it.
I feel like High Republic is going to just sort of... It's not going to treat them any more special than blue and green. You know what I mean? Like, if there's like 12 characters in a room, they're going to be, igniting yellow, igniting purple, igniting green. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. It's just going to be like, oh yeah, that lady has a green one. That guy has a yellow one. That's just how they roll. Like with us seeing purple, seeing yellow, that was like a special treat. I think High Republic is going to be like, no, it's a smorgasbord. It's all over the place. Like in Jedi Fallen Order, you get, like, spoilers if you haven't played all the way through. There's a point where you can alter the color, and you got a fair amount of options. Nothing too crazy, but like everything that you can imagine. And what's his name? Cal Kestis is never like, wow, I've never seen this color before. He's just like, yeah, here we go. Like, I think that's how it's going to be. They're just going to be like, yeah, that guy has orange. Why not? A lot of people have orange.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't treat any of them differently either. But do you think, okay, how about a purple? Anyone else have a purple one? How old is Mace Windu anyway?
709. That's a lie. I don't know how old. I'm going to assume he's in his 50s.
You know what? I'm going to Google this. You think he's in his 50s? How old is Mace Windu. How old is Madonna? That's not what I'm writing.
How old's Madonna? Yeah, that's next.
72 BBY. He was born. He died 19 BBY. So, what? 70. He was born to Gosh Windu.
That's not real.
Apparently, this is Wikipedia. Can you find a
Gosh, that sounds like something that Flanders says when
maybe
he's upset.
maybe it's Gosh Windu.
I hope so. Gosh, Windu? No, that can't be real.
I need someone to do the math for me. I can't do the math. How old is that? 60? 50? He's in his 50s?
Brock says Madonna is timeless. I agree.
He was trained by Yoda and Teresa.
That's right. Happy 2020 from Mr. Pete says there's a Disney canon Rhodian Jedi with a purple saber. I think that's the one from Heir to the Jedi where they visit his tomb. See, you're absolutely right. I think that the High Republic is going to get to that point, which frankly, I think that the prequel should have already been at that point when you see all the Jedi in action. It's going to be like every color's on the table.
But what are the colors, though?
Well, basically, it's really anything except red. So you got your blue, green, purple. You got yellow, orange. There's pink, I think. There's like aqua.
Well, if you remember, George Lucas said, good guys get blue or green, bad guys get red. And then Samuel Jackson's like, can I get purple? And he's like, maybe. And they gave him purple. So do you think they're going to go all out and just be like every color? Or are they going to stick to their guns and be like, there's blue, green, purple, and maybe yellowy orange?
I think that they won't go nuts in the first movie, but I think that it'll just be like this world, this pocket of the universe is much more comfortable with a bunch of colors. And please make one of those green, Disney. I don't know what you have against the green sabers, but man, you let me down on the green saber front.
Yeah, why did I think Ben Solo has a blue one because Luke has a green one in that scene, so they wanted to contrast them. But Ben's probably should have been purple, right? Because they say that the Mace Windu one is purple because he kind of has a little bit of the dark. Well, that's the old legends. Like
that's the old thing.
But that's still kind of cool, though. That's like it wouldn't have been like I don't know. It's just a lot of blue. It's a lot of blue.
It is. It's a lot of blue.
No, I know yellow's been around for a long time. I just think because Rey having the yellow is impactful because it's the only freaking color we get in a long time. Do you take away from that if you start incorporating these colors in these other movies? Do you know what I mean? Like the impact of that scene with her with that. Do you take away from that? Or do you make whoever has a yellow saber in the High Republic be like the most esteemed Jedi? And then you say like you don't explain this, but let's say like the Yoda type of the new saga, like the wisest Jedi, the Qui-Gon Jinn Jedi, right?
Yeah.
They have the yellow saber.
Yeah, give the leader a yellow one. Call it, I think somebody in the chat said this already, but instead of yellow, call it gold. 4-leaf clover. Yeah, 4-leaf clover said gold. Yeah, just call it the gold saber, like and have it be one person has that one. Like that's the Mace Windu of this group. Like there's one person with a different one. Everybody else has these other ones.
Like that Charlie wants, and D. Raven agrees. A plaid lightsaber. Let's all storm Lucasfilm for a plaid lightsaber. We're gonna start the hashtag. Start that hashtag. Get what is it? Release the
plaid.
Release the plaid. Release the plaid.
Master McDonald. I will be right back. I gotta do one quick thing. I will be back in like 20 seconds. Don't have too much fun without me.
Is this for real?
Yeah, 1 sec.
I think Andrew's gonna go get some plaid. Oh, this is awkward. It's just me alone. He's gone the plaid. Wait, colors mean rankings? No, they don't mean rankings. I just think that because Rey gets that yellow lightsaber at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, you got to show some importance to, not importance, but it's meaningful, right? Because it's the most different color, and it's so different from anything we've seen. Because I'm trying to think of in the prequels if we even see a yellow saber. Are you back, Andrew?
I'm back, and I like Dale Erdman's idea of a paisley saber. Happy 2020 has got a little list here of all the canon colors, and you're right, because like that that one scene I was talking about in Jedi Fallen Order, they really like they give you a big list of colors, but nothing feels unorthodox. It's literally like blue, green, that weird greenish yellow that Ahsoka has.
But also, that's a video game, though.
Yeah, that's a video game, but it's like they did their best to stick to canon. And there's also white. We're forgetting about white.
But you can't have white.
Ahsoka's got the white.
Yeah, but that's because she purified something, and it's so complicated now. I just don't think you could just give away like if they have a white, then they're not like I don't know. I love the white one. Don't get me wrong. I love the white one. I love the white, Andrew. I love the white
white's
blade.
Great.
Darksaber. I was surprised we got that. Spoilers.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
What if Rey pulled that one out at the end? You're like, what just happened? I think I stopped recording. All right, let's wrap this up right now. Very quickly, you want to run through the chat, see what's going on, then we'll say goodbye to everybody.
All right. Heidi brings up a good point. She says, depending on the original print of Star Wars, Vader's saber was orange. You're right. The colors in A New Hope way back in the day were very washed out. So Vader's looked orange, and Luke's had like an aqua look to it.
Yeah.
And now there's blue, and when you have a blue saber, it's very blue. But there are also aqua ones. They are in Fallen Order. I think there's some in Clone Wars. They made it two separate things. And there's that one character in Clone Wars. I'm blanking on his name. He's like an old alien. But his saber is like a bluish gray. It's almost white, but not quite. And it looks really cool. It stands out. And you know it when you see it. I wish I could remember his name. He's like an old guy. He looks like those guys from the Dark Crystal who move really slowly. He looks like that. If somebody knows his name in the chat, say it. Yeah, there we go. Happy 2020 saying it. Tira Sunube, that's his name. Yeah, it was like 90% white and then like 10% grayish blue. That was a cool color too. So there's a lot of flexibility, but I like the idea of one person having a gold one in the way that Windu is the only guy with a purple, and that person, like, she's like a cut above the rest. She is the cream of the crop of the Jedi, and everybody kind of looks to her for direction.
I love it. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for watching, hanging out with us, even though you didn't see the first half of the show. We'll put that up. You'll get to see that later on. Maybe we'll put that on the Rebel Scum clip channel. We got a new clip channel coming. Right now, you got to type in digital charcuterie to get it. That was the channel that I was doing a couple years ago. But now we're going to use that as a clip show. We're going to put we'll have special shows there as well. We're going back and forth, so we can upload things all the time. Mostly we're going to shun Andrew away from us if we can. But we will post this up. We'll send out a link. We'll tweet it. We'll Facebook it. We'll Patreon it. Thank everybody for your Patreon support. It really means a lot to us. It's a lot of fun. Episode 150 coming up on Wednesday. Andrew tries to name 66 Jedi in 66 seconds. We got a vote of no confidence. Top 5 moments from the Skywalker Saga. It is a ton of fun. Also, this Friday, everybody, we're going to have a Never Tell Me the Odds for you Patreon supporters, because that's what we do. Andrew, thanks for joining me tonight.
Oh, and by the way, just a little shameless plug. I don't know if everybody here knows it or not, but if you're interested, I did some fun videos that I think you guys would like, and I'll put a link to my channel right here in the chat right now. But I'm making this little trilogy of videos. If Star Wars A New Hope came out in 2015, and I do a video as if I'm reviewing it as if it's a brand new movie in 2015. And then I have If Empire Strikes Back came out in 2017, and later this week I'll be releasing If Return of the Jedi came out in 2019. And I'm putting the link in the chat to my channel right now, so you can see the first 2 videos, and later next week the last one will be out. If you're Star Wars fans, which I hope you all are because you're here, I think you'll have fun with them. They're fun.
And at 8:30, go over to 2 Med 2's channel, but now he's known as 2. Where's your new name?
The 2 Med 2 Star Wars Network.
Yeah, go over there 8:30 p.m. for his live stream. And until then, may the what's the clip channel? I'll write down the clip channel in the chat. Thanks everyone for watching. May the force of others be with you
Always.